Hi, I'm Mark Van Name. I'm a science fiction mystery writer. My latest novel is No Going Back, which came out in May from Baen Books. By now, if you're watching this, you should be near the end of your novel. You're a week and a half from the end of NaNoWriMo, or maybe you're just trying to finish a book. So I thought I'd talk today a little bit about the process of finishing a novel. The most important tip I can give you is don't go back at this point. It's been a big slog to get through the middle. Maybe you're still in the last 50, 60%. You're trying to really pick up speed. Don't go back. The middle of a book, from about the 20%, 30% mark until about the 80% mark, is what I call the dread. Every novelist I know hates that part. And that's the part where you feel lost. You don't know if the narrative's going to come together. You don't understand, is this working? Is this not working? And you want to go and fix it. You want to go back. Don't go there. It's like walking into quicksand. You won't finish. Instead, go forward. If you have any notes for yourself, write them down. You can always go back and fix them later. Plod forward, even though it'll feel like you're lost. When you hit the last 10 or 20% of the book, it'll be like a cliff is in front of you. And you'll see that you're now going downhill. You're near the end. Everything is working out. At that point, the most important thing you can do is remember everything you have to do. Don't let yourself pick up speed and just rush to the end, because if your readers have gone through an entire novel with your characters to get to the resolution, they want a resolution. So give it to them. Figure out what's going on. Figure out all the different pieces. Wrap up whatever you're going to wrap up. If you're writing a series and you plan to leave something open, make sure you leave only that open. Think about what's happened to all the different characters and all the different plot threads, and start bringing things together. Take your time doing it. It's very easy to go, oh God, I'm near the end, boom, 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 and suddenly you've weakened a book. Psychologically, what people remember most at the end of a book is what they just read. People always remember the most recent events, strongest. Second strongest is what's called primacy, the first events. So that's why the beginning and the end of your book are so important. When you get to the end, force yourself to slow down and get through all the important stuff. Most novels have a classic structure of a climax and then the denouement, which is the after the climax. Loose ends wrap up, people leave, maybe you see, like in the Harry Potter world, you see them with kids later in the future. Whatever you're going to do in your book, allow yourself time to write that. When you're done and you've written the end at the very end, and I don't like to allow myself to write those words until I'm at the very, very end. It's a little triumph in writing the end. Then, and only then do I believe, is it safe to go back. The way I work is that I like to make multiple passes on a book. So I write every single day. And when I finish a novel, the very next day, I go back to page 1 and I start rewriting it. And I run it all through my computer again. I go from the very beginning all the way to the end. And that lets me, for the first time, experience the whole book. And I start fixing and changing and cleaning up. And plan, if you want a really good book, plan on a few passes to go through the book. There are people who can write first draft prose, send it out, it's great. I'm not one of them. Most people aren't that person. Most novelists I know have to allow time to go through it. So allow yourself time to go back, keep going, keep working every day. There's a temptation to say, oh, I finished the book, I'm going to put it aside for a while. And some people that process works, but for a lot of people what happens is that process leads to the book never really getting polished. When you finish the book, it's in your head. You've been living there. You could close your eyes and talk about your world. You could talk about your characters, particularly if you've written the NaNoWriMo way, or the way I write, which is every single day. This world is part of your life. Stay in that world. Go back to the beginning. Polish the book while it's all still there. If you put it aside for months, you're going to have to gear back up. You're going to have to learn that world again, and that's hard. It's very easy to lose track of. It's like if you pick up a book you've been reading a year after you last read anything, you've lost track of the threads. Don't do that. Keep going, revise it. And when you finish a few passes and you really think you've had it right, then you're ready to send that book out.